them for bringing us in. How many master gardeners do we have? Oh, thank God. No, my mother is a master gardener, and she would, I mean, she's unbelievable. She raises butterflies. I mean, she's unbelievable. So I always like to know if I get around a master gardener, because if I do, I go, whoa, oh, maybe you need to come talk. I'm from Oklahoma, and I was raised down at the Red River. Literally, I could walk from my house to the Red River. It was like 15 miles. Down by Wichita Falls, Texas. So our plants there are a lot of the same here because of the heat. The only difference is we get more cold there, and it stays cold for a long time. We're here, it's what, 2-3 weeks? You know, it's not very long. Go out and throw a blanket on it. Put some Christmas lights on it, keep it warm. You know, especially on your like your sago palms and stuff like that. Everything else is going to come back, and if it doesn't, it's okay because they sell more. Or you can go out in the pasture and dig up some more and transplant them, unless it's a mountain laurel. You'll never get a mountain laurel transplant. They do not transplant. No, we have not been able to figure it out. I've asked every garden center, I've asked every gardener that's been here for their life, and nobody can figure out. I tried to transplant some last year. I used my little pellets that give them their nutrients to get started and all of that, because I thought, oh, I can do this. My mom does it. Not mountain laurel. Everything else transplanted. Mountain laurel did not.
I hear you have to scarify the seeds if you plant from seed. That's the only information.
We've got a couple of mountain.
I am not by no means an educated gardener, but I learn and read a lot, and
takes classes. She takes classes.
I've picked up a lot just over time. But I've been reading a lot. You have to scarify the seed, which means scar it up with sandpaper. So if you have mountain laurel seeds, that's what I've read.
I want to thank you all for coming today. It's been, I'm nervous, and when I'm nervous, I talk a lot, like a whole lot. Oh, she said I need a microphone. Do I really need the microphone? Okay, so I'm just going to run through some stuff here. We're gonna just kind of flip through this. A little bit of it covers our business, of course, but Cindy and I are here to answer your questions on the different types. We brought a few plants with us, and with the rain and the little wind coming in, they put them in the wrong part of the truck because it was pouring down rain. I wasn't going out there, and some of our blooms came off. But we have some beautiful plants. Our abelias were absolutely white this morning. And that's what you say?
Abelia.
Abelia. Like I say, I'm still learning. A lot of the plants are the same for both areas. We're in zone 7, and
we're just a couple of gals who got a great job.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with what we do. But we are TX Design Landscapers. We now have a garden center and a gift shop. We just moved to that this year. Before, we were just landscapers. We didn't sell to the public. We did everything but we got so many calls. People wanting materials, people wanting plants. And so we enlarged everything we do. Let's see if I can get this to go. Okay, and this is a little bit about us. We're locally owned and operated. Michelle Kosmowski has been here for 30 years. She grew up in Lakehills. Graduated there. She was a high patrolman. Her brother's a high patrolman. They went to school at the same time, which is the first ever brother and sister graduated at the same time. She's a really interesting lady, really interesting. And she's extremely knowledgeable, but she doesn't talk in front of people. So, you get me? And like I say, we enlarged, and we're moving to pastries and specialty cakes. And we got our first refrigerator. We got our first refrigerator for the store on Sunday.
Oh, they're superb too. Do not get me wrong. I had a piece of their cheesecake the other day. It was that thin.
Wow.
Have y'all been to the Forge and had dessert?
Yes.
Miss Diane makes their desserts.
Yes,
and they are phenomenal. Anyway, so a little bit about us is in our landscaping. That is our bread and butter. That's what we do, and we do everything with native, everything we can. We try. People want They want your hostas. Well, hosta is not gonna do good in 120 degrees, okay? And we had that this summer for 2 weeks. We had 56 days of over 100 degrees. So even our garden center looked bad. We were giving away plants. People would come in
3 times a day.
and we were giving them away. Yes, right now we do have a buy one, get one. If you want some grasses, and I highly recommend the zebra grass. The zebra grass is, I've never seen it before.
Beautiful.
We put it in the ground a week ago, 10 days,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's already huge.
Golden
It's already got
tassels.
the
Will it grow in
tassels
rock?
off of it.
Will it
Just-
grow in rock? That's what we.
Oh, yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. yes, just put some good dirt in there. After you make the hole, put good dirt in there. We have really good dirt, but you can also, we've got it in bags. We've got the organic also, if you wanna go organic. And then we do the bulk. We've got the bulk 4-way garden soil. So that's some of what we do. But when we're doing the process of landscaping, in order to get everything right, we have to go through a few steps. We talk to you about your native plants. We show you native plants. We tell you how to take care of native plants. We strongly ask for you to get a drip system. Everybody needs a drip system. And I'm not talking a soaker hose because that wastes water. A drip system goes to each plant, and you can do this yourselves. You can get the materials at Lowe's, Home Depot, probably even Ace Hardware. But a drip system, you put it on a timer, and it just drips to that plant. Each one of the little things, if you're not familiar with it, each one of the little things lets out so much water. So our succulents need less water, where our grasses need a lot of water. And you only set it out there for like a year. Sometimes, depending if we've had a drought like we just came out of, you might need to do it for 2 years. But it saves so much on water. And you're not out there spraying it. And we've all been in the water restrictions. Some places you can't even water, but you can run a drip system. Or you can do your water catchment, okay? So when we go into the design process, we do the 2D, 3D, so you can see what you're getting. Tells you your plants, has your legends, and then we go to the install process. And that's always fun. I don't get in on that part of it, and I wish I did, but I'm not digging a hole. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, what do I do?
Tap that, maybe, at the top.
Okay.
There we go. No, yeah, do it to the right-hand side maybe. There you go.
So, another thing we like is we like our pest, as some people put them. I think that and we're gonna talk about our pest, our pollinators in a minute. But if you put out water systems, whether you do,
What?
the water,
Features?
features. Whether you do it this way, whether we even have a bird bath that's made out of rock that's hand chiseled. They come out of Tijuana. We have, we forgot our rock. We even have flower pots that are rocks that have been hand chiseled. They come out of Tijuana. They're really, really neat. But this helps your pollinators. It keeps the water flowing so you don't get the mosquitoes, and it gives them a water source, okay? So we always recommend these, whether you do it yourself with your own pump and you get a tin bucket and put out there, and you put that water circulation in there. Water plants help with that because it keeps the algae down. And so we do that too, and we recommend that you do that because it's good for your plants, it's good for your water, it's good for everything. And it gives the bees and the butterflies a place to sit until they go get another drink. Now this is what we all see everywhere. Lantana. Lantana, not all lantanas that you buy are native, but they are hybrid. And so they have native in them, and they do great. This is the Dallas Red Lantana, which I love. And then of course our bluebonnets. Bluebonnets, you need to cast the seeds now. We get our seeds out of Junction. We order our seeds from Junction. There's a native seed farm there.
Native American seed, super resource for anything.
The
Love
grasses.
those grasses.
Mm-hmm.
Love
American
them.
seed?
Native American
Native
seed.
American seed.
I even found it when I was living in Arizona and I put pasture out for my horses with their grass seeds.
We had a flyer from that. Yeah, and this is their new catalog.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Amazing resources, serious, love it. We're
Okay.
gonna be carrying their products soon.
More along your water features. This is a waterfall. This was a gentleman over in Fredericksburg, Master Gardener. We went and helped him out. I was nervous, but he was a great guy. And so this shows your grasses. It shows your, this is the, you can say Gray's Mist, you can say Greg's Mist. It's
Greg's
the
Blue Mist.
Greg's Blue Mist, but great pollinator, great pollinator. We have these in the garden center, and we have had hummingbirds, butterflies, bees, everything, and it's been wonderful. But just plant them all around if you have the water features, and you'll get your butterflies.
I call
Cindy,
it
maybe you
butterfly
need to come
crack.
to the screen.
They
Okay,
do,
so
they go
one of
crazy
the
over
things
those
with
plants.
our drought situation is we all need to use less water. Less water is important. Xeriscape incorporates your little water features. It incorporates your rock and your native plants. And native plants are what's important. If you want to have a beautiful yard every year, you go buy your native plants or you go dig them out of the pasture. I dug up some sotos this year, and that was interesting because you can't just dig up the soto. You have to wait until it curves, and then you can cut it and plant it. That was a learning experience for me, but they are doing great. They're beautiful actually, and they're in my front flower bed. But I went out in the pasture. I live out at Tarpley on a game ranch, and I went out in the pasture and I just dug up the two prettiest ones I could find. And they are beautiful. And so you can do that. You can go dig up your lantanas. There's a place behind, y'all know where DQ is, okay? Right behind the convenience store on that little hill, and it's the right of way. There's little succulents. They're little cacti. And you can go scoop those up. And then you can go set them down in the dirt. And they're beautiful. I sort of did
So when you say soto, are you talking about sawtooth cacti?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sawtooth.
Yes, the
Yeah,
sotos.
it's a sawtooth cactus, that's what I've always
Oh,
called
yeah.
it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a confident name,
Okay, I
it's
dug one
soto.
up too.
Yeah.
And you needs to curve?
Well, your root, I had to
Like
go,
that.
we dug
They look
forever.
like little hats.
And we went down, and it was
Yeah.
probably about 2 foot
Okay.
in the ground. And then once we got down there, I'm down there, digging. And the root curved around because we couldn't figure out why the ones that we had at the yard that we had, customers had let us dig up, how come they were dying? Well, when I went and did it, I waited till the root curved, because it does, it'll do a natural curve, and I went probably about a foot, and then I cut it. But now underneath that, I put great dirt in there. I put the best dirt I could get, which was from our yard. And I put the little pellets, the ones that, the root system, it gets the root system started.
You talking about like a perlite?
See, I'm nervous, y'all. I'm sorry. Anyway, the benefits of your Xeriscape, and you can do this. You don't have to call a landscaper. You can do this. You can do it in just one little spot, like under a tree. And use your rock or your mulch, okay? Everybody has boulders. If you don't have boulders, there's boulders all down the side of the road too. I grew up with a mother that would stop at people's houses, and she would go out, and she would go.
That's what my grandma did.
And then the next time you know, we've got this beautiful plant. But like I say, my mom is awesome, okay? But anyway, I put a little bit on here. It conserves your water, preserves native plants, reduces pesticide use, because you don't want to use your pesticides if you don't have to. And it supports your local wildlife. We all have deer. And we all know that we have 3 different types of deer. We have your whitetail, your axis, and your black-buck antelopes that are running everywhere. And not everybody has them in every location, but each deer eats something different. They don't all just eat one plant and leave the rest of them alone. They don't do that. Lantanas are deer resistant, I'll tell you that, but they love the blooms off of them. It makes them sick. They have a tummy ache. And they probably won't touch it again, but their friend will. Because their friend's like, oh, that looks pretty good. So anyway, this reduces your water usage by 70% if you do with your Xeriscape, or how do you say it, Cindy?
Xeriscaping.
There she goes.
She always puts it out.
I'm the landscape coordinator. So
She's a real southerner. I'm not.
okay, here's some of what we've done on your Xeriscape. We've got an agave over here, and then we've got different plants, and we went from a yard that had water issues, drainage issues, went in and put boulders in, put our native plants. That's a rosemary and a bunch of other plants without me looking at them.
You just do it in the middle.
Okay, now, all rock on your yard can look really tacky, or it can look really pretty, depending if you put berms in, use different kind of rocks. You put, for your water issues, like we're all gonna find out today what our water issues are. Well, we will at Bandera. Y'all didn't get as much rain, did you?
Inch and a half.
Yeah? We do a lot of dry creek beds,
I got an inch and a half.
which you can do. You just dig it out a little bit, or your water may have already made it. And then you go and put heavier rock in there so that it doesn't flow away. We always say put in your commercial liner. You always gonna need to use pre-emergent. The birds fly over, they poo, and seeds go out. Your wind blows and your neighbor hasn't mowed for a month, and you've got all those weeds, the wind blows, all that comes on your yard. It gets in your rocks because your rocks have dirt, and those seeds get down in there and they grow, and then you get weeds. So pre-emergent takes care of that. It doesn't take care of anything already green. It takes care of everything underneath. It kills everything underneath. So if you get something new and green, just go pull it out, because it's probably a very small root at that point. But this is 4 pallets of grass to soften the yard. This is in the process. This is not even finished. This is a customer we did, but they wanted to soften it up. And so this has 4 pallets of grass. So if you want to soften, we say at least put 2 pallets of grass out. You can use a fan sprinkler for that. In the beginning, you water every 3 days. When I put mine out, I put a rain gauge.
So
Out
what
in my
grass
yard.
do you recommend?
Huh?
What grass do you recommend?
Oh, zoysia. Bermuda, Tiff Tuff, or Tahoma is great, but you're gonna be mowing once to twice a week. You're gonna be edging once to twice a week because Bermuda is very hardy. But if you use zoysia, zoysia only grows so tall, and you mow not as often. You don't weed eat as often. Edge as often. We use zoysia. It's grown down in Pleasanton area, Poteet. They ship all over the United States, but Zoysia. And we've been using a lot of the Zeon, which is Zeon. But the Stadium is great too. Stadium bounces back real fast if you're doing a lot of walking on it, or your dogs are doing a lot of walking on it. It bounces back really fast. That's what they put in stadiums. That's why they call it Stadium. Yes, ma'am?
You had said earlier that zebra grass was in.
Oh, zebra grass.
That's a decorative grass. It's an ornamental.
Oh, I think
It's beautiful.
my ignorance.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Anyway, so that's the kind of grass that we primarily use. We will not even put St. Augustine out anymore. St. Augustine, in the drought that we just went through, killed everybody's St. Augustine. It was a waste of their money. It didn't matter. My boss, Michelle, she had her St. Augustine out for 10 years or more, and last year, done. So we went and put zoysia in her yard, and we
Xeriscape.
yes, the rest of it. Put in big fountains, and it's beautiful. So, when you get started, remember, when you go get your plants, whether you dig them out of the ground or whether you buy them from someone, like we primarily, I would say 90% of our plants are native, okay? And right now they've been struggling because they're coming back. Cindy's been taking care of them for us and getting them back healthy. But with all that heat, we couldn't even keep up with the watering. That's what I said, we were giving away plants. But they look like this when they go in. And you're just like, Well, next season, with a drip system, this is what you're gonna get. Whether you plant them, we plant them, the neighbor plants them. This is what it goes to, but you need the drip system. Always remember that. You need the drip system. This is after, of course I put it up here, and this is before. Now, we're gonna talk about this is what makes your native plants grow. And some people call them pests. I love hummingbirds.
Nobody calls them
But they're pollinators. Well, back where I come from, they call
Don't
them
say
pests.
that, don't talk like that.
Okay. Well, the hummingbirds like the bell plants. Anything, like your Esperanza is a bell, okay? They love that. Anything that's red, yellow, gold, purple, they love it. The bell plants are better because they can put their little noses, beaks in there. I'm not good at this, okay? This is my first time
You're
doing
doing
this.
fine, sweetheart.
Okay, this is your Texas sage. There's many varieties, okay? This is just your San Antonio.
We have it
variety.
labeled as San Antonio, but I think people like to just put any name on it that sounds local. It's your basic sage. That's
And-
what I hear.
You can see it when you're going places because it grows everywhere. And it gets
Everywhere.
leggy after 7 or 8 years. Well, mine at my house is not leggy. I trim mine up every spring,
Yeah.
and I keep it at a nice, pretty stage. Now, you know when it's gonna rain. First off, you get your scorpions. And second off, your sage blooms. So you always know when it's gonna rain. And then it's beautiful. I knew it was gonna rain because all of our sage bloomed at the ranch. Even the one up next to the house. But you can let it go crazy and it'll get huge. And then after 7 or 8 years, it'll get kind of leggy. But there's other sages. Our green cloud compact sage.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
cloud's
And it
beautiful.
only gets about like this, one plant.
It's about 4 foot, 3 to 4 foot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's round. And it goes back,
A little darker green leaf on it. It's really pretty.
and our sages stay green throughout the year. So where your grasses die back, your plants die back, that are gonna come back out, but they die back for the winter, your sages stay green. Just like a variegated privet. A privet will
Is that
stay green.
deciduous? Is that called deciduous, where they stay
No.
green all year?
Perennial,
Evergreen.
perennial.
Perennials.
Well, perennial,
Perennials.
I thought just meant stay, but there's a term for a tree that keeps their leaf all year.
Oh,
Evergreen.
Evergreen, is it
Yes.
evergreen? There you go, thank you.
So your cacti, your yuccas, your agaves, even your sages. And when you get to these, sage, no matter what sage you plant, doesn't take a lot of water. You water it like you do a cacti. Because if you water it too much, you're gonna kill it. But these are a few of the plants that the hummingbirds like. I have with me, let's do this. And I don't have a lot, so come by our office and pick up copies. But here's the plants that the hummingbirds really like. There's a whole list of them.
There's a copy machine up front.
I'll take it and
Okay,
scan
I
it
have several.
and I'll email it to everybody.
Okay.
Cause they're gonna get a copy of this presentation.
Okay. And that's on the hummingbird. And then we go to my favorite. This is what I want to raise. My mom raises butterflies. I want bees. I want honeybees. Because honeybees are what feed us. Honeybees are what makes our world go round. And without the honeybee, we have no food. No food. So we all need to encourage the honeybees. I know some people are allergic. I get that. I'm not. And I've always wanted, and I'm going to. I'm going to. But here's some of the plants that they like. In your vegetable gardens, put out your herbs. Put out your squashes. Put out anything, your corn. Anything that makes a bloom. Corn doesn't make a bloom.
It's okay, keep talking.
No, I had bees around my corn at the
Well,
house.
Mexican petunias, they love Mexican petunias, they love any of the yellow bells, Esperanza. Yeah.
And here's
Henry
the plants.
Salvia, the bumbles are all over my Henry Salvia.
Vitex.
They like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
absolutely.
Vitex is a great tree to plant here. And here's a list of the plants that the honeybees like, or the bees. I say honeybees because I love honeybees. I think they're so cute. I had so much fun picking out the honeybee to go in the picture. This is a blooming rosemary. We actually have one right now I've never seen one bloom. And we have one in the garden center blooming that I saw yesterday, and I was like, ooh, I got to see one. So I get excited about strange stuff. But here's some of the plants that they like. Not all of them. It's a long list. I did it. Butterflies. Butterflies are our friend. They pollinate also. They all pollinate, but butterflies are our friend.
We're on the migratory path for butterflies as well.
I've been waiting I have my hummingbird feeders filled, because we know when winter's coming, the hummingbirds come through. And we know when winter's coming, the monarchs come through. They haven't come through yet. So we're not getting winter yet, but it's coming. But here's some of the plants that they like. And we always want to make sure, and a lot of these plants crisscross. And we always want to make sure that we have food, their flowers, and so forth, to keep the butterflies coming. And we have a lot of butterfly bushes, plants. Okay, this is the one that everybody argues about. Okay?
That's the only question I get.
Yes, there are deer-proof plants,
No,
okay?
there's
But not for every deer.
Cactus.
No, they eat cactus.
And
I've heard that they like to
At
pull
the-
cactus out and throw them across
that's
the
true.
yard.
At the
They
ranch,
play with them.
at the ranch, we have red deer and
She was at a game ranch, it's very cool.
oric. Of course, we've got the antelope, and then we've got the, I can't think of what the other one is. It's the ugliest deer I've ever seen. Well, it's not a deer, but, and then we have the, okay, I'm gonna quit talking about that, because I can't remember the names, because I'm nervous. Anyway, each deer eats something different. At the ranch, they eat all the prickly pears. They love them. They start blooming, they come take them, you know, and I don't know how they eat them, because it has, you know, spikes in it. But here's some of the plants that the whitetail doesn't like. But you've got axis, you've got antelope, and so each deer will eat something different. Like I said, they'll eat the top off of a lantana, but it makes them sick. And then they'll leave the lantana alone. You see lantana everywhere, and it's huge, because after they get really mature, they won't touch them at all.
Smells.
It smells.
They don't
But
like copper
here's
candy.
some of the deer-resistant plants. Nothing's gonna be 100% proof. In a drought, there's no water, there's no food. You know what they do? They eat everything, everything. Esperanzas, Pride of Barbados, everything that we tell you they're not gonna eat, they eat it all. They just love it. Last year, everybody lost their gardens, their flower beds, because the deer came in and ate everything.
Well, even during these last two droughts, I have to say that my cowpin daisies, they will not eat them. They didn't eat them
Write
during the
that
drought.
down.
I'm telling you, and I've got them all over the place. I water them. They're by the barn. They're back
If you
behind
see
the
them on
barn.
the side of the road, you can pretty much guarantee the deer don't eat them.
Exactly.
There's a
They,
lot
they
of,
do
there's a
not
lot
eat
of
those. And
daisies
they're
like
beautiful.
that
They're
that they
great
don't
for the
touch.
pollinators.
I know the moonflower, they won't touch the moonflower,
Or the
I know.
oleander.
or the oleanders,
Yeah,
yes,
they're
or the
poisonous,
oleanders.
they're poisonous, so, yeah.
Yeah,
What is
but
it, the
there's,
snow on the mountains right now?
Oh, those are
weird-
highly toxic,
Okay,
that's that
that's
Why
white
they're
tip.
not eating that either,
Yes.
but they're a pollinator.
Yes, and they're absolutely, don't kill, well, don't touch them either.
so I'm gonna
I
run through
touched
the rest
them.
of this really quick, and I'm gonna let Cindy come up
Oh,
and
I
talk
think
to you about
that's
some of our
good.
plants, and then we'll do a quick question and answer, and we're gonna get out of your way. Come and see us at the garden center.
Where?
If we don't know the answer, we'll find it.
Where?
What's your
We're on
location?
Oh.
16, just closer to town past Heaveners, on the right-hand side. It's a little hill. You'll
The
see
John
it
Deere
on the
place?
right.
Toward
Oh, I
Bandera.
thought
It's here?
If you're going from here to Bandera, we're on the right-hand side, just a bit past
Yes.
Edgar's.
Yeah.
That
One
doesn't help-
twenty-nine,
that doesn't help anybody.
State Highway 16.
No, that's our
No,
old
that's-
address,
that's-
so it's
that-
141 Happy Hollow.
Okay.
It hasn't been updated yet.
Just past
How about an
Hubner, just
address?
past, on the right, up
Yeah.
on the hill.
All right,
You see
GPS.
it?
All right.
I got him, I got
Okay.
him.
Yeah, look for the woohoo doll.
Yeah, it,
Oh, I remember that.
yes,
Yeah.
the woohoo.
They're
And-
widening that road, so we can't even bring signage closer to the road, so it does make it difficult.
Yes.
I mean, I've said, put a sign in the back of the truck, we'll move it all the time, but, we're not allowed any signage close to that road. They're supposed to be widening it right now, and that's what that construction's all about.
It's gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, so our garden center, this is just a few pictures of our garden center. That one's sideways. This is the Mexican honeysuckle, they're all sideways. How did
3
I
out
do
of
that?
5 ain't bad.
Here's your yucca, here's our fountain system, and we have other fountains like I was telling you. Here's the, that's crooked too. No, I worked on this so hard. And then, oh. Oh,
Hold it down. Hold it
I have a
down.
video. It was supposed to play
Hold it.
video.
Oh,
Wow, that's techie.
It just didn't translate from the disc to their system.
just press and hold along the left edge. Press and hold, and then hit exit full screen. And then scroll back up to where you want to be.
Okay. This was a video showing you a butterfly landing on the lantana. And it was beautiful. It was a little green butterfly. It's beautiful. And I was so proud of myself because I got it to go there. I'm just gonna do this now.
Simple pleasures.
Yes. Here's some of the succulents. And then we have trees also. Most of our trees, all of our trees right now are 15 gallon. And then our native rock and our regular rock. The black shadow is a railroad rock. Right now it's very expensive. I don't know, maybe they're building more railroads. I don't know. But we have Llano rock, river rock. We're running low on Llano because we haven't had a flood. And if anybody knows where your rock comes from, when a flood comes through, it washes all that rock out. And then the rock people go in and they scoop it up. And then they sell it to us, or to you. We've also got, it's called septic rock. It's a white limestone rock. We have pebble rock. All kinds of different designs. Our front yard at the office, which used to be a house, our front yard is
Xeriscape.
there she goes, Xeriscape. And it's done with the different types of rock to kind of give you an idea of what you can do, if that's what you're interested in. And it's just really neat.
They're all recently planted too.
This is a video that was supposed to show you our pit. We have a pit to where now we sell to the public. And so we keep plenty of materials down there, and I don't know why we don't have a video. And I'm gonna run through the gift shop real quick because we're not here about the gift shop. But my boss wanted me to put it on here.
But it's worth going and see if you need a
It
video.
is. This
It
little
is.
thing right here, this is called an everlasting candle. Or you can just leave it like that with the light. It's beautiful, and we have many different colors of butterflies. We've got Christmas ones with little birds and pine cones, and they're all really beautiful. They're all really beautiful, but I wanted to show y'all this today because I just love this little butterfly. But we have lots of gifts. These are made in-house, and they go anywhere from small to long for like your table. Miss Diane makes these in-house, and it just looks natural. Just looks natural, and it's beautiful. I'm sorry, it's beautiful. And then we have food stuff. I actually took one of them and put it on my chicken wings, and it was strawberry, jalapeno, blueberry, yes. And it was awesome. Even the man ate it. Sorry guys, but y'all's palates are a little bit different than ours. And then we have a few more gifts. I mean, we have tons. We have kids gifts, adult gifts. We're coming up on holidays. Well, where's the rest of them? Oh. Aha. And my part of the presentation is over. We are at Happy Hollow Trail. This is the cell phone you can get me on. I answer 90% of the phone calls. I'm Christie. the landscaping coordinator, but I also work in the front. I also go out to garden center. I go out to clients' homes. If you have questions and I don't know the answer, I will find it. I promise you.
She won't pull my weeds, so it pisses me
No, I
off.
will not pull her weeds. I will not pull her weeds. She can pull her own weeds. I'm selling the plants, she pulls the weeds. So, I'm gonna let Cindy talk now.
I don't have a in there,
Did you read
honey.
that last grade?
Oh,
You can pass out cards, you can
Yes.
pass out cards, that way you'll have it, so,
Oh.
yeah.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
I was going back to that.
Just.
She was gonna pass out cards.
Just pass out cards.
Okay.
It makes it easier.
So I have our cards, and then I have a few of the old ones that has the old address on it, but I brought those just in case. But this little flyer has the old address also, but we still have a website. We do YouTube. We just have a lot of things for you that you can go and see, but this kind of talks a little bit more about, and it helps you. You don't have to use us. You don't have to use anybody. You can use yourself. I've always done my own landscaping. I've never used anybody. So I find this really interesting. Plus I'm a detail person. So if you walk in my office, I have 7 or 8 whiteboards in my office where I keep up with everything. Because I'm very detail oriented.
She's a coordinator, so for all the jobs that they put together out in the field.
Yes.
She
And
coordinates all the material and people.
Helps me to know what I'm doing at my house. I didn't have anybody come in and plant my plants and do my yard. I did it. Even though it's on the ranch, I used the native plants so that we didn't veer off from what the ranch already has, because they have the big house and the other big house, and then, I live in the little house. It's beautiful. Here's our card. I'm gonna hand these out to you. And it has our address, our website, talks about the gift shop a little bit. We're getting bigger cards, but this was just to get us started since we moved to the new location. And then here's the thing that talks about the cakes and pastries. But we have all these plants, and they had beautiful flowers on them this morning, and it rained, and then they put them in the wrong part of the truck, so they lost some of their bloom. I'm gonna let Cindy talk. I'm gonna be quiet, I keep saying that. And here is a list of native plants in this area. I want to encourage you, this is what I did, because I'm learning. So I want to encourage you. There's a website. They offer classes out of Austin, and they start in the spring and they run through fall. So they're about finished if they're not finished already. And it goes through Native Plant Society of Texas. This is Kerrville, what's recommended to plant in the Kerrville area. We also have the San Antonio area. And I just went and downloaded them. Nothing fancy. Bernie area. It doesn't have Bandera. So I figure a cross between Kerrville and Bernie. We're kind of in the middle. Because this one says Bernie and surrounding areas. And like I say, I just went on to their website, and it's Native Plant Society of Texas.
I
Great
follow them on
resource.
Facebook. They've got a pretty good presence on Facebook.
Great resource.
Yeah.
And that's how we learn. We're not experts, not even close. But we do know what grows and what doesn't. We know how much to water it. If it turns yellow, it's getting too much water. If it turns brown, water it. Real simple. It's real simple, because people will say, my plant's dying. Is it brown or is it yellow? If it's yellow, don't water it. If it's brown, water that sucker, because it needs water, okay? If your leaves are getting spots, you need to talk to your local
Extension agent?
extension office, yes. And they will come out for free. I learned this the other day. They will come out for free. I learn something every day. And they will look at your plants, your trees, whatever, and tell you if you've got a fungus, if you've got a bug, what needs to be taken care of. Okay, Cindy, it's up to you.
Well, you've got all this PowerPoint stuff. I have nothing, so if anybody just has general questions, I'm here to just answer anything anybody's got. I don't really have, because you did all this PowerPoint, everybody's already covered. I'm the one out in the garden center working with the plants every day. If anybody has questions or has, I really highly recommend background in research and, cause I'm just learning on the job.
Could you tell us the names of the plants you brought?
Yes, we can do that. Our poor Abelia here got all the little white flowers are off of it. But this is gorgeous. This is the Duranta, and it's really beautiful. Another great plant to have in your yard. The Henry, a couple of salvias. This is a Mexican sage. But these all do really good. The butterfly bush and of course lantana.
How often should you be watering some of those?
It depends, are you just planting it? So,
Yeah.
once planted
Uh-huh.
and established, I don't water any of my yards in my garden.
Okay.
I don't, my yellow bells, I put a hose on it the other day for a few minutes, but I don't water anything that's in my yard. I started out in my yard with native grass seeds, so I've planted, in my personal yard, native grass that I got through, Native American, seed. Buffalo grass, it's got a little bit of, it's their blend that they do, and it's beautiful. It's a light green, a little sagey green, gets about 4 inches tall. But, I don't know where to go.
Okay, so,
For you.
Any questions would be helpful.
yes,
I got a question
Please
for you.
repeat the question if it's spoken softly so that we can hear it.
If we were planting a garden spot and you want to mulch it, what is your formula for calculating how much mulch would be required?
okay. So
That's
that's a
her.
Christie question.
Okay.
This goes for dirt, for rock, mulch, anything that you're adding to a spot. And what we do is we take the length times the width, or the total area, whether it's a circle, you get your dimension. And then you multiply it, or divide it, you divide it by 300. And then you multiply it by how deep you want it. If you want it 1 inch deep, you multiply it by 1. 2 inches, by 2. We do 3 inch mostly on everything, rock, mulch, everything. And so I use a 3 multiplier. And that will give you how many yards you need. So when you can order materials in 2 different ways. If you order them from me, let's do yards, because I'm good at yards. I'm not good at the tonnage. But, because tonnage is a little bit different than the yards. Tonnage is a little bit more, generally. But you can do it either way. I don't use the tonnage multiplier because it irritates me. It just does.
Yeah.
I can't ever get it right, but I get the yards right every single time. And that's how you do it. If you're doing mulch, and you've got 350 square feet, divide it by 300, and then multiply it by your depth.
Divide by, okay.
Divide by 300,
So
and
you
then
want your
multiply.
square feet,
Mhm.
divide by 300, and then by your depth.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's a great way to know how much you need.
Cause she orders all the materials for the job site, sets them all up. She's the coordinator for the whole landscaping crew, and the office, and all of us.
And I'll do a big plus, they were very quick on delivery, and, when y'all dumped out this beautiful mulch, there was one little piece of trash, and your guy kinda snuck over. I picked it out, and I was
probably
going,
his
oh gee, cause I've gotten rotten thing. Excellent job, really, really
Oh,
good,
thanks.
really good job.
Thanks.
And bless his heart, I called him on it, and he said, we don't give mulch out like that.
We don't.
And it was like,
We don't.
this big. It was an accident.
And, we try to be quick on our deliveries, but I had a delivery this morning for garden soil, 4-way garden soil. And after 2 inches of rain, there's no soil, rock, anything being delivered this weekend.
It's heavy.
It
It's
gets
heavy.
too heavy.
It's too heavy and we can't measure it correctly. And
Yeah.
our bucket is 1 yard exactly. And so, that has to be put off until it dries out over the weekend, and then, Monday, Tuesday, we'll take it. Unfortunately, the gentleman's sons are not gonna be there to help him spread it, which I kinda feel bad about, but nature got us.
Like I
And that
said, you
happens.
won't pull weeds either.
No, I don't pull weeds.
So, you guys, anybody can come in and I can help with plants and determine what you wanna do with them, where you wanna put them. Whether it's a shrub, a hedge, what's, maximum growth height. But that changes by the plants that we get in. We might have these now, although the salvia and the basics we'll always have. But the dianthus,
sage.
that's not something we're gonna have every time.
That's the
The
last one we
abelia,
had.
that's a nice shrub, it's a good 4 to 6 foot shrub. The Mexican bush, of course, the butterfly weed, it gets quite healthy as well, it's a big plant, but, you know, we try to help you, you know, determine what you're gonna need and narrow down looking at everything. Cause of course, our plants are this big, but you've gotta take in what they're gonna look like down the road.
We're planting red tips today.
Oh, I love red tips.
Yes, we're planting red tips today at a lady's house.
Not deer resistant.
And, no, but they're great for keeping your neighbors from seeing what you're doing, and they grow fast,
Yeah.
just like the
Those are the
variegated.
Xeriscape and the
And the
variegated
privets.
privet.
Yes,
Well, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I've got kind of a two-part question.
Sure.
One is, in Xeriscape, is there a way to combine in that area cacti or succulents with shrubby bushes?
Absolutely, and like she said, with your drip system, you can, by the tip that you choose, you can limit or increase the amount of water going to each individual plant. So of course, you can do whatever you want, because that
We-
gives
we
you
do
that
both.
flexibility.
so that you have your green and flowers in the summer, and we encourage you to do that yourself. And we do the succulents also, and the cacti also, so that you have your green in the winter, so that it's not just all dead and brown. It's pretty, all year round.
And then is there like for somebody who wants to create the Xeriscape spot in their yard, is there a step 1, step 2, step 3 that we can follow, or?
Well, I would say, first of all, you gotta put it on paper. Do a little bit on paper, and then, is there steps? Well, yeah, you have to lay down your sheeting and choose your rocks and everything else like that. But always in plant design, you wanna, you know, have your taller in the back and drop down to, you know, to the front. It's no different. In Arizona, where I'm from, that's all you see is Xeriscape. You guys are just starting it out here. You can't even buy a house in Arizona. It's already pre-Xeriscape for you. They give you no choice. And they don't. You can do what you want with your backyard, but that front yard is already pre-Xeriscape. And it can be as basic or as complicated as you want to make it. So there's no rules, there's no starting point. You know, it starts with your dirt, your base, and then your rock, and you go from there and choose what plants. How much do you want to water? How much do you want to do to it? Some people don't want to do anything. They want a couple shrubs, that's it. Some people want to get more complicated, and I think this is a complicated group. We want more, you know, I want places for my butterflies. I let my Henry salvia grow wild. It is literally going wild. I've got my anaconda orchid, which is my favorite tree, by the way. That's a Texas native also. It's a beautiful little ornamental tree, grows 12 to 15 feet tall, gets a little white flower on it in the springtime.
What do you call it?
Anaconda, Anacacho. Anaconda orchids, they're gorgeous. They grow in the hilly, rocky regions, and they're a nice native. They're deer resistant. I have a fence though, so I don't worry about that. I plant whatever I want. I know. I got all sorts of green stuff. Yes.
Can y'all help if we want to do some permaculture, some edible trees and bushes and shrubs in with this?
Sure, they're able to do anything you want to do, right? I don't even know what permaculture means. I'm so sorry.
That's a new word for me also, but I will be Googling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do.
So you're talking
Go to
about
everything.
putting cabbage and some of the.
No, more like permanent bushes, trees, shrubs that are going to give food.
Pomegranate.
Fruit tree.
You mean
Oh,
like margaritas
yeah.
Some
and
of the,
some-
like, put in a avocado or, you know, something that is gonna, I have a blackberry bush that's really taking off in a pot and I wanna put it in the ground.
Well, I will.
So to like, put this in with it.
And you need to put it in a spot that you don't want anything else to ever grow in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the blackberry, I had blackberries behind my house at the lake,
Do they take over?
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
blackberry will completely
Yeah.
take over. They're very invasive.
Yeah.
So You've gotta be careful, that's why you put them in pots.
Mhm.
Unless you have a dedicated area that
I
you're
have
just
5
gonna let
acres
them
of
go.
rock.
There you go.
Yeah. Are you deer-proof? Are you deer-proof? Do you fence?
We're putting up a fence. It's
That
not-
would have to be necessary.
I have a garden in a fence,
Oh, cool. That's
so.
Yeah,
Well, the
great.
deer didn't eat the
Mustang breaks,
blackberry
and I eat those.
where we were from, but they were all whitetail. We didn't have the exotics that run free here.
It's thorny too, isn't it?
It's very thorny,
There's
yes.
also thornless blackberry.
Yeah, there are.
Oh, is there?
Thornless,
Yeah.
yes.
See, I learned something else today.
Yeah, thornless cactus too. Yeah.
Ladies
Not really.
and gentlemen,
No, I made a mistake one time, cause I've worked out in the field for a long time, cause I don't like being caught up indoors. And I used to read water meters and walk gas lines in Arizona. And I spent more time walking around, I'd see a little pup of a cactus I didn't know about, I'd be picking it up. I made the mistake of putting a thornless in my back pocket, don't ever do that. I thought, oh, I could tuck that into my little cargo pocket. No, don't do it.
I hope that we have helped somewhat. Y'all have helped us greatly. Oh, another question.
I got a question about dirt.
Thank you so much.
Dirt.
I live right at the lake and I need a raised garden
Mhm.
because of the rock, we just can't get in there. The dirt at the lake is not gonna be good. It's like clay, and I had this idea where I was gonna go down there and bring all these buckets of lake dirt up to the house. And I went down and got a few and I found out they're really not a good idea, I don't think, and I was just wondering, it's too much of everything, right?
I know
Well, the
that
trees
that's
were-
Fertilizer or whatever.
I would do a prepared soil more than that, I mean, but if you say it's got heavy clay, I'd line
I would
my
too.
container
Yeah.
with that clay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll bet there's a lot of minerals in it.
That's
that
what I
would
was
be-
thinking, but it's, it's been out there for a
It'd
while. and
probably be
so
too rich
I said,
full
I
on,
need a
though.
raised garden, I've got, philodendrons, the real big ones, and they don't like it in a pot.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
probably
want- They
too,
want out.
it could be too rich too. I mean,
That's what, yeah, I've
yeah.
got my irises too, that the leaves started turning yellow.
Yeah. And there's some plants that don't want good soil at all. Lavender, rosemary, the worst rocky condition is what those plants want. When we order them in, and this is something we learned this year,
Maybe lake dirt.
the nurseries plant them in beautiful soil, but they die.
Yeah.
That's a plant that HEB does really well with, because people go, oh, I want one of those, and they take them out really fast. They don't live in our place, because they're planted wrong. You need to take them home and get them in horrible conditions.
Right.
What you would think. We wanna pretty all this up, but a lot of the natives aren't meant to be
Well, that's why
that
they're
well
natives.
treated.
They're suitable to our lousy growing
Yes.
conditions. They like that sort of thing. So if you
Absolutely,
make it
crepe
like the
myrtles,
tropical-
all that. I would
Okay.
not, I
Oh,
dig mine straight in the ground. Hi, hon.
Hi, regarding the river soil, or the lake soil.
Yeah.
My, ancestors in Castroville, we live on Elm Cove. And so a lot of the first homesteads around the lake were
Right.
Sunday houses. And when they went through the first really, really, really bad drought, my dad said he jumped across, the Medina River. The farmers came down and they actually tilled up that soil and they planted spinach.
Okay.
So that soil does have a lot of nutrients in it.
Right.
I wouldn't use just that soil
I thought
totally.
about maybe if I
Put
started
it
mixing
in with
it up.
other,
with
with
the
it just a
compost
garden
or something.
soil. But yeah, they did that. They were like, well, we've got all this stuff.
I
The
just thought it
spinach
was
high
a-
nitrogen, I would imagine
I-
spinach would need a high nitrogen. There's
So,
gotta be something
but
that's
they
in
would
it that's.
plant,
Yeah.
certain, crops. I know one of them was spinach,
Okay.
so.
Not this drought, but the one before, right? There was a guy that I bought some soil out of the lake from, because they were going out there and digging up soil and selling it. Yeah, and you have to mix it up, but
Right.
but it's
I mean, I've
grows
just been
good,
thinking
way
about
better than it
this.
did this year.
Why hasn't anybody thought of this? Well, now I know.
Mhm.
It's not, you gotta mix it up.
Harvest.
I got
That's why we
compost.
even do our 4-in-1, it's not solid soil, it's got sand and other
Okay.
stuff in it.
Can I mix it up with garden soil?
Huh?
oh, red tips?
Oh, they're a beautiful hedge. They have they're an evergreen, they have a red tip on the leaves. They're a shrub, they grow 10, 12 feet tall.
The new growth turns red.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And then it's, oh, the red pit patina.
Yeah.
It is, but they can get up to 10 feet tall if they're not maintained.
I maintain mine, they're really pretty.
But they're bushy all the way around.
So y'all gonna be hanging around, I think maybe we'll go ahead and end it right here.
Okay.
Sounds
Take a
good.
break so that people, yes, thank you very much. And we'll take a break and come back, and anybody that wants to stay for the business part of this meeting can.
Thank you for having us, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Christie.
I'm not nervous now.
You did great.
Do we